What's up, guys? Lynn Ray here. Just want to talk about a little lesson I learned this morning. Man, it's cold. It's 23 degrees this morning, um, and yeah, it's not too windy, but it's just very frigid. It's like you're sitting in a freezer. Anyways, I want to talk about a little lesson I learned this morning. This morning I watched a little YouTube video, and it's a very quick one. It's probably only like 5 or 6 minutes long, and I'll tell you the significance of that. But I want to talk about the book that I started reading this morning. Now, this book is a book I've actually read before, and holy smokes, I'm shining. You see the glow? I want to talk about this book I read. It's a book I've actually read before. It's called Think and Grow Rich, and it's a very popular book that many people have read. And I've read it before. Sorry, I'm a little distracted trying to drive at the same time. So I read it before. This is my second time reading it, and I decided to start reading it again to address some things that I've been thinking about, or things that I feel like I need a little work on. And so that's why I started reading it again. Now, I probably won't read the entire book, and this really isn't that important for you guys. I'm just verbalizing what I'm thinking. So I probably won't read the book again. Completely through. I'll just probably pick and choose some spots that I feel are relevant for me at this very second or very moment in my life. So I started off this morning, just reading the introduction. If anyone's read Think and Grow Rich, every chapter is super important, but chapter 1 just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the book. So I decided to read chapter 1, which is the intro, again. And so anyways, reading chapter 1, I just want to talk about the story that the very first section of chapter 1. So there's a gentleman by the name of Edwin Barnes. I'll call him Barnes from now on. He had this longing desire to work with Thomas Edison. So at this time, period, everyone knows who Thomas Edison is, right? So at this time, Thomas Edison is this very famous inventor, which he still is, right? But he was alive at this time, so he was, this super famous and wealthy inventor, right? And Thomas Edison had, tons and tons of people working for him, working with him, etc. Well, working for him. And so this gentleman by the name of Barnes, he wanted to work with Thomas Edison. So there was a few issues. They did not live in the same area. They didn't live in the same state. B, obviously, he didn't know Thomas Edison. And C, probably most important, he didn't have any money to get to know Thomas Edison or get near Thomas Edison. So, continuing on with his life, he continues with what he's doing, and he still has this strong desire to work with Thomas Edison. And so finally that desire was so strong that this idiot here won't let me get over for some reason. Finally, his desire was so strong that, sorry, I shouldn't have called him an idiot, but he sped up even though my blinkers were on. This desire was so strong, and he just decided, hey, I don't have any money, but I'm gonna get to Thomas Edison. And so, because he didn't have any money, he didn't really have a way to get there. So he packed up his belongings and he actually jumped on a freight train. And because that was a free method of getting to where he needed to go, obviously. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure that was pretty uncomfortable. Hopefully he didn't go in the wintertime, because Thomas Edison actually lived in New Jersey. So anyways, he hops on this freight train. He goes to find Thomas Edison. He finally gets to New Jersey, and he figures out where Thomas Edison's office is, and he somehow is able to get into Thomas Edison's office, and he pretty much tells Edison, hey, you know, I want to work with you, right? And he didn't say I want to work for you. He says, I want to work with you. And obviously that didn't really, obviously Thomas Edison, being the, this very famous inventor and wealthy guy, Thomas Edison was like, all right, whatever. He went through a few interviews with Thomas Edison, and finally Edison gave him a job. So Edison actually gave him a job for one reason, actually, and Edison kept him around for one reason. He saw that desire, he saw that determination in Barnes's eyes and Barnes's actions, and he knew that that Barnes wasn't going to give up. So Edison gave him a job at one of his offices. I believe he worked in the mail room. So he worked in the mail room, and he was like, all right, I'm at step one, right? So again, his desire is to work with Thomas Edison. And obviously working in a mailroom doesn't quite meet the desire, but it's a step in the right direction. So he's working in this mailroom, just trying to find the opportunity to show Edison what he's made of, what he's got, what he can offer. And didn't really specify the timeline, but I'm assuming it was probably a couple of months, maybe a couple years, who knows. But finally, Edison invented a device called the Edison, I think it's called the Edison Dictator device, or machine. And the salesman that Edison employed, they just were having a hard time selling this machine, or they thought that it was just too hard to sell, or they didn't think it was worth selling. I don't know. But they weren't doing a really good job. And finally, Barnes saw his opportunity. He went to Edison one day and he was like, I see you have this Edison dictating machine. I think it'll do well. I think I can sell it. I think I can make money with it, or make you money with it. And Edison was like, all right, have at it. Get it done. No one else was able to do it. Why not give you a chance? Not a big deal. So Edison gave him a chance to sell the Edison dictating machine, and Barnes actually knocked it out of the park. He ended up selling, I'm assuming, thousands of it. Barnes actually became wealthy selling this Edison dictating machine, and I'm assuming other objects as well. But that Edison dictating machine was the first step. Barnes did so well. I guess at this time, after a certain amount of sales, he went into a partnership with Edison. And the term's really not around now, but I'm assuming at the time the term was invented by Edison, distributed by Barnes. So Barnes had a contract, a partnership with Edison to distribute certain objects or items. And so there it was, his desire was realized. Now, here comes the lesson that I learned. So in this script, Edison talks about Barnes's Bulldog Determination. Now, I mentioned a YouTube video I watched this morning that was about 6 or 7 minutes long, and it was basically an interview with the owner of the Houston Rockets, and he actually mentioned the same thing this morning. So I found that pretty interesting, because I've read the book before many years ago, and for some reason I missed that word, Bulldog Determination, or that term. And then here I am this morning, I hear that same term twice within 15 minutes. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because that was what Barnes had. That's what he needed in order to get that partnership with Edison. So how does that apply to me? How does that apply to you, us? If we have a desire, right? If we have something that we consider our definite purpose, something that is our goal, something that we absolutely know we need to accomplish, need to do, it's very, very important that we have that bulldog desire, right? We need to have that desire to do whatever is necessary to accomplish that mission or that task. Now, if anyone's owned a Bulldog before, I've actually never owned a Bulldog, but I've owned Pit Bulls, right? They stem from the Pit Bulls actually is a breed, stems from the Bulldog, right? Through breeding, it was changed. So if anyone's ever had a Bulldog or a Pit Bull, you know that they are some strong-willed dogs. Those dogs will do whatever is necessary to accomplish whatever they want, right? If they want some food, they're going to do what's necessary to get that food. They're going to tear through that bag of food and eat. They're going to, you know what I mean? So obviously if they're trained, they won't. Kind of a sidetrack there. But Bulldogs, Pit Bulls are very strong-willed dogs. And when they want something, they go for it. It's absolutely theirs. It might take a little time, but if they want it, they're going to get it, right? And so that's the purpose, and that's the lesson that I learned this morning, is that if I have a desire, if you have a desire, if we have a desire to do something that we consider our definite purpose, right? Something that we absolutely want in our life, we need to have that Bulldog determination, right? We need to do whatever is necessary for as long as it takes to get it, right? For me, I'm talking about business, right? I'm talking about, being an entrepreneur. In the past, I've had a business, right? And I did not have that Bulldog determination. And I actually made money in that business. And I basically let it go, right? I could probably revive that business now, but I've kind of moved on. But you need to have, I'm going to keep it about me. I need to have that Bulldog determination. We need to have that Bulldog determination, attacking until we get what we want, right? So that's kind of the lesson for today. That's my lesson for myself for this morning. Have that Bulldog determination, that persistence, right? Persistence would be another word, but I think Bulldog determination is a little bit more descriptive, right? If you've had that type of dog, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So have that Bulldog determination, folks. Be persistent, attack your goals, and keep at it until you get it. If it takes the rest of your life, it takes the rest of your life. All right, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.